Hi, this is Ruxandra, co-founder of Babele, and I'm here for our 6th session of the Investment Readiness program regarding competition. Here you go, competitive analysis. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why it is important to do the competitive analysis, how to do it, and especially how to do it in case you are in new markets. And finally, why it is important also for the investment decisions. Let's go. Why is it important to do a competitive analysis? First of all, you learn. You learn a lot. What works well, what doesn't work well, what's the difference between your product and service and the one of your competitors. And that's a question that you will get a lot from your customers asking you, why should I choose you instead of another competitor, but also from your investors. It also helps you to adapt to successful practices and relevant innovations that you find in the market, or to discover new strategies and methods, or some market niches that were unserved until that point. And finally, it also offers you the opportunity to partner with other competitors that are complementary to you, and you can find synergies or establish joint ventures. Okay, we know now why you want to do it, but then how should you do it? And the first step is to identify direct, secondary, and indirect competitors. So let's make the difference. Direct competitors are the ones that have the same product or service and they are serving it in the same way as you do. Secondary competitors are selling the same product, but maybe in a different way or a slightly different product. For example, for McDonald's, a direct competitor is Burger King, and a secondary competitor is maybe Domino's Pizza. So it's a slightly different product. And then indirect competitors are selling different products, but compete for the same customer. And here a very good example is Kindle and paperback books. They are indirect competitors. So how do you find the competitors? There are specific tools to be used, for example, Crunchbase or Quora or even Google. You can Google using specific keywords. The important part here is to really be able to identify them. And once you have identified them, you need to analyze them. You need to analyze their strengths and weaknesses. And you can take different criteria, for example, quality, pricing, product range, product development, customer relationship, and analyze the different strengths and weaknesses of your direct and indirect competitors. I am sharing here on my screen a very famous framework, which is the SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And you can see there are internal origin like strengths and weaknesses, and that's what you are going to analyze for the competitors. And then you have external origins, opportunities, and threats. And these are generally for the whole market or for the whole industry. So you don't need to do opportunities and threats for each one of your competitors, but you need to do it once for the market. And it is important to do this because it also helps you identify your unique value proposition. Where are you different compared to your competitors? And this is a very good argument that you can have then for your clients or for your investors. Well, now that you have done the analysis, how do you present it? There is a framework where you can present it in a chart, or you can put an X-Y axis. For example, on X you put pricing, and then Y you put performance, and you can do it like this. But this is not very efficient because it's very simplistic. You probably always show that you're better than your competitors, but this is just for marketing. It isn't really helping you make an analysis and making credible analysis. And then this framework may work or existing markets. But if you are not in an existing market and you're a startup that is creating a new market, it's very hard to find direct competitors. Maybe there aren't. Maybe there are just indirect competitors. So how do you present that in a new market? And here I'm going to show you the example that is described by Steve Blank, because I find it very good and I find his suggestion of the Petal diagram excellent. So Steve Blank analyzes Zana, which is a lifelong learning network for entrepreneurs, and he shows how they present their competition in petal diagram. And each petal represents one market sector in which they operate. For example, corporate, higher education, adult learning skills institutions, and startup ecosystem. And for each one of them, they have put relevant key players that are known in the segment of education. And they also put how much venture capitalists have invested in these companies, so that they also show the potential market size of the companies. And this is a good way because it shows that there are other investors that believe in the sector, and it also gives an idea of the market size. So if you are building a service or a product that is at an intersection between different markets, the petal diagram might be a good solution for you. In the end, the competitive analysis is important for your investors, and you need to include it in your investment pitch. Even if sometimes you feel like, oh, but if there are so many competitors, why should I still create my product or service? Or that's maybe not a good sign to show that there are so many. But if you don't analyze your market, then you don't show that you have the expertise and in-depth knowledge of your industry and market. And that's the first step that any investor is doing at the very beginning when he decides to invest or not in your startup. And even in the due diligence process, it's very important for the investor to learn through your competition the market that you are in. Not all investors know it, and it's a good way to get educated. And for you to be able to answer to an investor, I'm different because I'm doing this on this and this is different than the other startups in the field, is crucial. It shows that you are a true expert and worth receiving the investment. So good luck. I'm looking forward to see your completed assignments in the investment readiness program, and have a great one.